All right. Hello and welcome to the Holo Herald Podcast. This is our first ever live podcast, and so it's gonna be a little bit buggy. So just be prepared to deal with that as we're going to log it. We have some old classic games streaming for you guys to watch while we're going through it. So just sit back and relax. So we're joined by three other podcasters today, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. First and foremost, we have my main man,
Paul. I'm back again, of course. I'm a regular on the podcast now. I'm excited to be part of the first inaugural live streamed podcast from the Holo Herald, and it should be a good one. We have some interesting topics to talk about, and we'd love to hear from you, the viewers, about them. So, should be good.
And we're also joined back again. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Austin.
All right. Of course, like the man said, I'm Austin. Always excited to be here, ready to do this first ever live streamed podcast.
And for the first time ever on the Holo Herald Podcast, you guys are used to him, though. It's the new face of the Holo Herald. Alex, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Well, I'm Alex. And, I've been able to do a few movies for you guys, but I'm excited to be able to do my first podcast here with the Holo Herald.
And so as you viewers are here joining us, we have lots of topics for you guys today. Sorry we're a little bit later than normal. We've been trying to figure out all of our shit. We've been trying to get everything together, but we're just going to talk like our normal podcast and live with you. Thanks you guys for joining us live. This is going to be awesome. Hopefully from now on, we're going to be doing it live. Since we reached a milestone in our career, we've reached over 1,000 subscribers, which is pretty insane. Don't you think, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a major achievement.
And so that's really exciting for us. We're going to try to be doing more live stuff, more interacting with our users, because you guys do so much for us that we're going to be able to try to, give back a little bit and, include you guys a little bit more in the process of everything. So if you guys have any comments, go ahead and leave us comments and let us know what's up, what's down, all around. Ask us questions. You guys can join in the discussions, the debates. But other than that, we're just going to treat it like a normal podcast. Paul, can you go ahead and pull up a test for our main man, Austin?
What should we test him for this week?
Another test?
Ooh. Another test. What should we get going? I don't know. We have so many options.
Here, let me open it up.
PTSD.
What, PTSD? That could be a good one. Do you think we should give him a PTSD test? Do you think there is a PTSD test?
I want to see just how traumatized on the inside Austin is.
Oh, extremely traumatized. It's not even a question.
Extremely
But it's not fact until you take a test.
Okay, so we're going to do PTSD today. So,
Testing does not prove anything.
Austin, are you a male or a female?
I am a male.
Or neither?
A male.
You can never be too sure, man.
And your age?
I am 21.
21 years old. Have you ever been directly involved or had to deal with a traumatic event?
Yes.
Was your emotional response to the traumatic event that of intense fear, shock, helplessness, or horror?
Shock.
So yes. I have memories and upsetting thoughts about the experienced event that come into my mind unwillingly.
Sometimes.
I find it hard to distract myself from memories and upsetting thoughts about the traumatic event. Not at all, rarely, sometimes, often, or very often.
Rarely.
I can't recall some important part of what happened. No, I remember everything. I have some gaps in my memory about, yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all. Interesting. I have disturbed sleep because of bad dreams or nightmares about the event.
Nope.
I feel upset if anything reminds me about the traumatic event.
Nope.
I experience unpleasant body sensations like muscle tension, racing heartbeat, sweating, dizziness, or stomach aches when I am reminded of the event.
Nope.
What is the event? What is this event, first of all?
Austin's last Friday night.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a whole nother test, guys.
Okay.
I try to avoid any thoughts or talks that might remind me of the trauma I experienced.
Yes, I try to avoid
Always, often, or sometimes?
sometimes.
Always. Okay, I try to stay away from places or people that might remind me of my traumatic experience.
Nope.
Never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always?
I rarely.
Just never? Oh, rarely. I'm little, if any, interested in socializing or other important activities. Not at all. Little of the time? I don't believe that's correct. Some of the time, a great deal of time, or most of the time.
Little of the time.
How much longer is? I think we should all just safely assume.
It's 20 questions.
I'll safely assume that he has. You could answer the rest for him, and let's see what he got.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through real quick, and you guys can continue to talk.
So we have a soup. If you guys look at the stream right now, we have super speed games. Our games are going at about 1,000 frames a second. That's all right.
As he wigs out. Oh crap! It froze.
Right when we pointed out, it crashes. That.
Okay, so Austin's score on the PTSD test was a 59. This score indicates that he has severe PTSD and should consult a mental health professional for further evaluation.
Severe.
So, severe.
Severe.
Oh, dear.
I'm pretty sure like soldiers in Iraq get severe on their test.
What did
I don't know what Austin went through, and I don't want to ask him because I don't want to bring it up because he has severe PTSD.
Yeah, what do you think will happen?
They'll probably snap and just beat the crap out of you.
Through the microphone.
Through the microphone, yeah.
But PTSD is a serious disorder.
I have no comment to add.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and we're going to jump into the tech portion of the podcast. That's on it. We all don't really care about Austin. That's not why we came here. We came here to talk about tech and tech related stuff. More importantly, we came to talk about my problems. So I've come to the conclusion. So actually, we'll get into gaming since we have a game playing in the background. We're just talking about a little news that they announced. So on the 1st of this month, they just announced that the new Project Scorpio, which is like their new Xbox clone. It's supposed to be like a super powered. It's gonna be the most powerful console. It's supposed to have like 1080 graphics. It's supposed to have insane quality. Whatever. I don't know. It's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be insane. They're not releasing a whole lot about it, but it's supposed to be really interesting stuff. And it's supposed to be insanely powerful. They just announced that they're going to be mixing it with mixed reality and features like that. I don't know what kind of integration the two are going to hold from each other, but yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I think. What do you guys think? What do you guys see the future of gaming and mixed reality? We talk about this a lot, and I go back and forth so often. What do you guys think?
At this point, I don't see it because it's not being pushed as that by Microsoft. See, you saw with VR, they pushed games a lot. Like, whenever you saw something for VR, it was always, oh, check out this game, check out this game. With MR, it's been, check out this business use, check out how this can be used in industry. So, for me, I don't see the use of MR in gaming. I'm sure people will come up with really cool games, like we've already seen some pretty cool games and stuff like that, but I don't think we'll see it as a major player in the gaming world. I think we'll see it more as like your new workstation PC kind of deal.
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
I would never buy a mixed reality device solely for the gaming purposes. Solely because the hardware is not quite where it needs to be right now. But with like consoles and stuff, like playing just that's awesome.
Okay, what do you think, Alex? You haven't tried a whole lot of gaming on the HoloLens, but as what you've seen right now, does that give you like hope for the future, or what do you think?
Kind of. I still kind of agree with Paul in that, a lot of the mixed reality applications are used mainly for like education or business purposes, whereas games like Fragments or Robo Raid or Young Conquer, like the YouTube community have really kind of shot those ideas down, and a lot of people have kind of freaked out over them, like gotten outraged because like the HoloLens was trying to compare like Young Conquer, for example, to its older self, like the Nintendo 64. And like even with games like with Robo Raid, I couldn't see myself like putting in as many hours on Robo Raid as I would on, say, Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, the HoloLens gets uncomfortable after like 30 minutes of use. Just saying.
Yeah, well, there is the headband for the HoloLens, which we rarely use. With the headband, it's like wearing a heavy hat. It's not too bad. But yeah, I guess my biggest question is I wonder if there's like a paradigm that we're not thinking. Maybe because we're seeing gaming with HoloLens as it is now, so such as like Fragments and Gun Conquer. But is there like a use case where we're not seeing for it in the future to maybe be run off of a PC or something more powerful? I guess I don't see, maybe like what's the future? Maybe there isn't as big a future, but what does the future of gaming look like? What kind of games do you guys see coming to the HoloLens or mixed reality devices in general? Maybe not just like Fragments, maybe like think outside the box a little bit. What kind of games do you guys see? Have you guys thought of anything?
I think the biggest use would be real-time strategy games for sure. Like a game where you can see all your units out on the board, which can be your room, and you can control those units using the controls that are already inside the HoloLens, or just a simple chess game. Things like that. Things that just adaptations of games we already play in the real world, like with real board games, and just given a mixed reality vibe to them, or a game like Civilization, which is basically a board game that someone made into a computer game, which obviously it's not a board game, but the game plays a lot like a board game. So I can see that coming to the HoloLens.
Yeah, I was actually
quite easily.
I was about to suggest like a Holo Age of Empires or something for the future. I think that would be a really fun idea. Just like have it out on your floor or something, and have like forests shoot up by the couch and maybe some villages over by the coffee table. I think it'd be really interesting to see what they could do with that.
Like it builds around your surroundings and adapts to it. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because like a StarCraft, that I could totally see a StarCraft when you say it like that. That's really cool. That would be awesome. Like your whole room. I always thought a cool game would be like what's that one game where you like create a huge army and then you pit them against each other? Warhammer.
Like Rome Total War?
Yeah, Total War.
Okay.
Total War.
Total
Yeah, the Total
War,
War. Yeah, the Total War series. I think the Total War series where you could like do it on your bed or something like that, like have like thousands of goblins versus, knights or something like that. I think that would be super freaking cool. What?
I think, but I'm not sure about like fast-paced games like that on the HoloLens. If you're only using HoloLens controls, but if you like pair like a wireless keyboard and mouse, which you can do, and not a mouse, I don't believe, but you can do with the keyboard right now. I think then you could get a more like fast-paced game like you guys were suggesting. But I think as we're seeing it right now with the HoloLens, where it is with the technology, I think you have to consider more like slow-paced games, more methodical games.
Yeah. What about like microtransaction games? Like, how they're really popular on the iPhone, like Farmville and stuff like that? Do you see that stuff getting like extremely popular with mixed reality? Do you think that kind of stuff fits into that niche really well with the microtransactions and those like $1 games that you can spend a lot of it? Do you think those will convert easily over to mixed reality platforms, or do you think those will get left in the dust with the iPhone and stuff like that?
Me personally, I never got into Farmville, and I was never really good at it, and it didn't keep my attention. So, like, in a subjective point of view, like, I probably wouldn't go anywhere near it. On the other hand, I've seen how many other people, like, really, like, just went ham on their own personal farms and had just, like, enormous big, like, tractors and equipment and all sorts of stuff. Like, it very well could if they figure out a good system for the HoloLens.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
So, Alex, you never, like, went into Walmart and bought Farmville gift cards?
No, I can't say that I have.
Everybody does that, though, dude. What the heck? Well, Clash of Clans. I could totally see a Clash of Clans style thing, though. Like, you're just sitting in your car or your office, and you just, boom, flick the menu open, and you open up Clash of Clans inside of your entire office. I could totally see that stuff converting very easily right over to mixed reality or other platforms like that. I think it'll be the same thing, just different strokes. Maybe not as soon, obviously, but once mixed reality begins to take over, that'll definitely take a seat in there. And the reason I'm asking about this is recently, not recently, the past couple years, since I graduated from high school, I've been slowly falling more and more and more out of love with gaming. And I mean, we were all pretty big gamers in high school. You know, we would all have LAN parties, or we would all play Halo, or whatever we were doing. We always played games. But I can't remember the last time that I sat down and played games. And now I'm wondering if this is due to me not liking gaming, or is this the quality in games dropping? Like, games are getting released a lot sooner. Games are not finished when they're released. There's a lot of microtransactions, you know, or it's not as fast paced. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is? How do you guys feel about this? How since you guys have graduated high school, how has gaming changed for you?
I guess I'll start. So for me, it's kind of the same thing. I don't sit down and play video games unless I'm with a group of friends and everyone else is playing. Like, I haven't found like a single player game where I'm like gonna get invested into it and put tons of hours into it. Like, I won't sit down and play a game unless I'm playing with a group of friends or something, which sadly is going the way of the dinosaur as well, because more and more games are not split screen anymore, which is yet another reason to not play games anymore, unless, like, I would rather play on a PC, and even then I do other things while I'm playing that game.
Paul, do you think that's just our generation? Like, what are the kids nowadays? Like, are they different? Do you know?
I don't personally know, but I would assume that because these companies are still selling an ungodly amount of games, that they aren't seeing negative effects to them taking away split screen gaming. So I'm guessing it's just me. So that's kind of sad to me, but that's my reason for it. Is just like, there's just not enough games to play with your friends anymore. Like, if I have to buy another console to play with my friend, I'm probably not going to buy the console. I'm just going to say, I'm not playing games. Because
yeah, definitely.
There's not enough games anymore. There's not enough games anymore where I'm like, I have to have it. Like, when I was in high school, it was like, you have to have Call of Duty because it's super fun and you can have friends over and play it. So that's just my view on the
back
subject.
in the day, you would have like one friend that had a console, and everybody would go to their house, and they'd have 4 controllers, and you guys would all play that. That's like the way it would go, because you're young and you can't afford it. And I wonder, are consumers more like apt buying consoles and stuff now? Because it's a pretty ballsy move, especially in something like Halo, the Halo franchise, to take out all split screen in Halo 5 completely. You know, that's a very bold move, but I guess there's got to be a market for it. It must have not hurt that too bad. But I mean, that was the whole like idea of Halo, was you would meet up with your friends, you would have LAN parties, you would do whatever you needed to do. So I don't know. I was just wondering if it's me changing or if it's gaming changing. How about you, Alex? Has gaming changed for you at all?
I don't know. I feel like it kind of has, because like what you said, Halo 5 completely did away with anything split screen. Whereas like in my childhood, when I was like 13 or 14, and heck, even nowadays, you know, with Halo 2, I'd get with some buddies and we'd just do Halo 2 split screen 4-player for days. You know, like that was fun. And I really enjoy doing that. And for them to start doing away with that, you know, it's kind of gives me one less reason to game, you know.
What was your favorite map?
Oh, easy. Halo 2. The teleporting map where you teleport around. Never mind. Oh God. Now I can't think of it.
That one map with the enormous fan right in the middle.
That one's awesome.
That's Halo 3.
That's Halo 3, yeah.
No, that's Halo 2, man.
That's very much Halo 3.
Anyways.
Okay. I'm just going to leave the podcast now. I'm just going to... This is Alex signing off.
And that's the last
But
time
still, Halo 3... Halo 3 still had co-op, and I could still play with my buddies.
It did. It very much did.
See what I'm trying to say here?
Is this dying? Is this type of gaming that we're used to dying? Where it's everybody in one room together and we all play. I guess I think it is, because I only have 2 controllers for my Xbox One. I've never had 2 controllers for any console I've ever had. I've always maxed out the amount that I could have. But what I'm confused about, is it my age? I'm trying to decide if it's my age that is this. Maybe I just don't hang out with friends as much, or I'm not playing as co-op as much, or everybody has their own consoles, or is it just the games don't cater to it, and the consoles and the communities don't cater to that type of playing anymore? What do you guys think?
I don't think that the quality of games has gone down, because the new Ghost Recon game, Wildlands, just came out, which is a single-player game, and I went over to my friend's house, and we switched off controllers this past weekend, and it's a really, really fun game. Like, at every moment you feel like a badass. Like, it's a really good game, but I kept on thinking the entire time, this would be fun if you could play, like, together split screen, because Eric, remember when we used to hang out at your place and play Ghost Recon? I forget what one.
It was Advanced Warfighter 2.
Yeah, and we'd play that for hours and play it, like, super tactically. Like, the game still lends itself to playing tactically, but you have to do it over online multiplayer. You can't do it on the same console anymore, which I think is, I don't like. Yeah, it's a big bummer.
So are we in the minority, or is this just like, is it everybody think they're in the minority about it? Because, I mean, all of us here, we all want to do split-screen gaming, but I mean, we've always grown up like that. Not everybody else has grown up like us. I'm just curious, I guess we must be in the minority, right? Because they're taking it out. Or is this a sales gimmick? Is this like Xbox and PlayStation trying to get more sales out of people to buy more consoles and stuff like that? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, it could be. They could feel like, oh, the more people that are forced to go and get a console are going to. But for someone like me, I'm not hardcore enough gamer, and if it's not easy for me to acquire, I'm probably not gonna go out and get it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I have an Xbox One and I have an Xbox 360, and I turn on my Xbox One and I find myself going back to the old 360 games. And now maybe that's just like what I'm used to, so I'll just stick there. And maybe I'm just fighting the times. I'm just an old man. I'm probably sounding like an old man. I just, maybe they don't, I'm just feeling nostalgic. So I guess it's probably 50-50. I think the gaming realm is changing. So to tie this back into mixed reality, do you think mixed reality gaming is going to be a more social experience or a solitary experience?
I can see it being very social, because the HoloLens, just because that's the only one we have experience with and know a lot about, is built so you and other people can see what you're looking at in terms of holograms. So it lends itself to a multiplayer, like a local multiplayer experience, because everyone who has one can see what you're looking at. And it's not like with consoles where, what I know a lot of companies claim, oh, we couldn't give you as good graphics because we'd have to double the graphics each time that we gave you, like, another screen. With the HoloLens, it wouldn't necessarily be like that, because everyone would have their own MR headset, so you could still have that experience, and you'd still be in the same room and be able to interact with real people in person rather than over the internet, which I think we all have to admit is completely different than face-to-face interaction.
Yes, it is different. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I feel like they can have like the same feelings and stuff like that, but they're different, you know. Sometimes you just want to play with your friends online, and sometimes you just want to play with your friends in real life, you know. It is different. So along the lines of that, I saw something really cool. There's an anime called Sword Art Online, which is like an anime where the kid gets transported into the video game, and if he dies in real life. I mean, there's 80s movies about it all day. But or like an MMO. I think one of the things I'm most excited for with mixed reality is a real life MMO. So like you walk around with your mixed reality headset and everybody has like their character name above them if they have the app open, and they have like their stats and all their crap or whatever it might be, and you can like challenge someone to fight right there and stuff. I think that'd be super cool. What do you guys think? Is that something you guys would be into, or is that like a little bit too much in your privacy or too much people interacting with you? What do you guys think?
For me, it sounds a lot like Pokemon Go, and that game didn't appeal to me, but I'd be interested to see what a developer could come up with a major game like that, as that would be like a massive undertaking. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm not sure if that's something that would appeal to me, just because like I don't know, I'm just not as suited to playing games anymore.
What if it was more seamless than Pokemon Go? What if it wasn't like as in your face? Like Pokemon, you have to get up and go to certain places. What if this is just on your day-to-day stuff? You were collecting stuff and you were, or you're playing with it. Do you see this could be like a new social network? I guess where I'm getting towards is, do you think this could be something like a new Facebook or something like that? Like a new form of social media we've never seen before with mixed reality? What do you guys think?
Maybe not, just because like the HoloLens and other MR or AR, VR technology, really any reality shifting technology is kind of hard to get to. So until it becomes as mainstream as the smartphone, probably not. But in the future, I'd say definitely.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Alex on that. Just we're not there where it can be, because with a social network, you have to have people socially interacting with one another, and if the hardware is not there to be able to do something like that, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, I guess you have to have users to make it there. I don't know. I think that would just be super cool. Like when me and Cassie were watching Black Mirror last night, and they had this interesting point in it where they had contact lenses that was basically like mixed reality or augmented reality, right? But they were implanted into their eyes. So once you got it, you couldn't remove it. And they made an interesting point where you could block other people. And when you would block someone else, it would turn them into a blur. Like you wouldn't even see that person as they're walking towards you. It would just be like this staticky blur. Or if you saw pictures of that person and you couldn't hear them, it would like mute that person in your ears and stuff like that. Do you ever see us getting to the point where technology is that invasive where you could literally block someone else where you can't see them like that? It was kind of a spooky take on it, but I'm interested. Do you guys think like the possibilities of something like that happening?
Something like that terrifies me, and, I'll probably be like, 80 years old, and that old guy on my rocker saying, no one's going to surgically put a contact lens in my eye, while the whole, the youth, the millennials are all doing it,
80 years, what do you think? I don't think it's going to be 80 years. I'm thinking more like 10, 15 years until we're starting to see that, 10, 20 years until we're seeing that kind of stuff. At least...
You really do?
Maybe not contact lenses, but at least implantable technology like that.
Implantable technology.
I think there was a patent that was filed for something like that, like an AR contact lens device. So yeah, I agree with Eric on the time frame there.
But like
I don't
a
know
contact
about
lens, like would it be removable? Because like surgically implanting would be like a completely different spectrum.
Yeah, but wouldn't it accomplish the same goal?
Yes, but I would never be able to take it out once I put it in.
I feel like
So yeah, just get the removable contact lens.
Then yeah, I could do that. I'd be just fine with that. But permanently putting something and attaching a piece of technology to my body, for some reason, just kind of gives me the creeps,
I feel like I'm on coast to coast right now.
I think a lot of people feel like that when they're just looking at the news. Like Coast to Coast always talks about the crazy alien technology and stuff like this. And you just look at the news now and technology is moving so fast, it almost feels like you're looking at alien technology, But I see it very soon. Maybe not implantable technology, but at least technology that's much more seamlessly integrated with your body, your human body, What do you guys? What's some stuff that you guys see happening? I think definitely like mixed reality glasses that are like added to your body, or like animatronics. Like, what would it take? Like, I'm a salesman. How much would it have to help your life for me to put technology inside of your body, like a robotic arm, or something like that?
It would have to be able to check my vitals and be able to check for diseases before they became prevalent, so they could be treated before they became a major problem. I think that would be a huge thing for me personally. Just that fact that it's preventive care, that you don't have to go to the doctors so often, but a computer monitors it, and if something gets out of whack, you go to the doctor and get it taken care of. So that I'd be down for it right there. If you could do that for me, I'm down.
Yeah, but Paul, what happens when your I don't know, your electric mechanical arm thing tests your vitals and tells you that you test positive for early onset Alzheimer's or something like that, where there's no cure, and you pretty much know that you will be dreading the end of your life,
Then I can prepare my family for that moment.
Yeah, and you caught it a lot earlier than you normally would.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more preventable.
And I know it's not a curable disease, and it's not like preventable, but there are medicines, I'm sure, that if you use them early, they will act in a way that is deemed, like, they'll help lessen the effects of the disease for a long term.
Just kind of mitigate the effects and the blow on your psyche and everyone around you then.
Yes, and like and just like the financial burden of that disease, because it is a very expensive disease and really hard, like, emotionally and mentally for your family to deal with. So yes, I think I don't see a reason not to get it. Like, I'd rather know about things before they happen than while they're happening.
Okay, so I come to you and I say, hey, there's this awesome, little thing we put in your arm, but we also track your location. We also track all your vitals, and we will keep the data secure, but we're going to use it for data collection and for troubleshooting purposes. How do you feel about that? Is that still? I guess what I'm trying to say is, how much privacy would you be willing to give up to get something that awesome?
I feel like every podcast that we do, we somehow manage to work in privacy.
It's just really prevalent right now.
It's extremely prevalent to technology. Yeah, exactly.
But just remember, it's a naive discussion, guys.
But now, it's not just location; it's vitals now.
Yeah.
Which I think that's not really. If they're sent directly to your doctor, those are already secured. Like, they have to be, or else your doctor's a bad person and should be sued until he's living in a box.
So no, but we're going to use the data. We'll send it to your doctor, but we're also going to keep that data, and we're going to use it for data collection, for census data and all that kind of stuff. Are you okay with that?
I would have to think about that very seriously. Right now, I'm inclined to say no, because I've never been a fan of those location tracking services. Like, anything that wants to track my location, I just say don't allow, even though I know they probably do. I still say no, and right now I'd be inclined to say no, but I think the benefits are worth the costs in that case, just because if you're able to prepare for these diseases that early, like, it'll almost be no harm. Like, yeah, you'll get the disease, but your family won't be harmed because they'll know it was coming, and you can financially set it up so no one has to go through any financial hardship when you pass, or if you need treatment that's very expensive. So you can plan things out better. Now, an issue I could see here is insurance companies using that to raise rates on people. So, you're predisposed to have Alzheimer's in the future. Well, we're going to raise your premiums by this much because you're going to be a more expensive person to deal with in the future. You'd be put into a high-risk pool automatically. So I think it'd be a very interesting thing to think about who that data would be going to.
You have to check it. Something that you have to check the terms of service. Okay, so the one in our group who's probably the most against, like, really invasive technology is probably Austin. Would you agree with that, Austin?
Yeah, sure.
So let's go to you. So someone like me and Paul who quite accepting of that too, and rightfully so. Someone who's very skeptical of it. I'm not crapping on you or anything. What would it take for me to come to you as a salesman and try to put technology in your body? What are the benefits that it would have to give you for you to be able to do that?
I mean, yeah, your vitals is cool. Sending it to your doctor is cool, but, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just scared of change or whatever. But
no, it's totally a rightful side opinion. I mean, there's no right or wrong to this answer.
Yeah. Austin, I'm kind of right there with you because Eric keeps asking, I'm the salesman. What do I have to keep telling you? I keep thinking, what does he have to tell me? But I can't think of any reason that he could give me that would want me to surgically implant something.
What about super strength? I could give you arms that are like 100 times stronger than your regular arm.
I mean, what would I use that for?
I don't know. Crushing things?
Lifting heavy things, crushing things.
Like, I don't know, just like some like Amazon warehouse worker.
Because that's where
No, you already got replaced by a robot.
Run faster.
Wrecked.
Let's say I give you legs that can make you run like 25, 30 miles an hour.
I mean, that'd be cool, but not necessary. Like,
Why can't I just get in my car and drive to wherever I need to be? Because unless I want to run a long distance, it's because I'm trying to lose like calories and weight. You know what I'm saying?
like,
Yeah, they're the robot legs. You don't lose calories or weight anymore. They don't burn anything.
Like, Eric, remember back in high school when we created the Life Without the Internet film?
Yes.
Like,
Stand With Us Films. Check it out.
don't check it out.
No, please do.
We'll link it in the description.
Oh no.
Oh,
Life-
yes.
Life is awesome without the internet. Like, life, I mean, most technologies, like, I mean, they make our life better and easier and whatnot, but they're not necessary. Like, putting something inside me is not necessary. I just don't see it as a necessity. Like, I absolutely have to put this microchip in my brain to function.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't a necessity. Like living in a hot house is not a necessity. You could live out in the cold. There's a lot of things that aren't necessities. I'm just saying there are comforts and there are things that would enhance your life. And I guess I'm just trying to see you guys are just my small selective pool. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, if I was to try to sell this to people, what would I say to them? Not like that I am trying to say. I'm just trying to see what people would want from it. And so you guys are like my small selective pool. So there's nothing I could give to you right now. If I could say like an arm that gives you super strength, legs that give you strength, a pill that gives you vitals, mixed reality contacts, but anything you take is really hard to go back on that you've already taken. There's nothing I could give you that you would take.
Like Stanley says, with great power comes great responsibility.
I hate you. I literally hate you.
And with no power comes no responsibility, Austin. Remember that.
Yeah. So that does. I was asking. Never mind. Moving
But
on.
Austin, at the same time, Austin, with great power comes great privilege.
Oh. Anyways, what's some of the other news you guys brought to the table today?
So one thing that I thought was interesting that you sent me on Slack was this Acer Windows mixed reality headset that's coming out. That's a tethered mixed reality headset. That seems to be like it'll be a very affordable consumer grade mixed reality headset.
Oh,
So,
okay. I know what you're getting
I'd like
to.
to
I know what you're getting to.
So I'd like to hear people's thoughts on that.
Okay, so Paul's talking about the developers kit. There's like what did they call it? Freak. We should find the link real quick, huh?
It's the Windows.
I've got it.
The Windows Mixed Reality Dev Kit. Is that it?
Yes.
Yes.
That. And correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. It's going to be $300 for a headset and $500 for a mixed reality capable PC. Most developers should probably already have a PC that could run whatever they need it to, but they're saying that's the minimum specs to run it. So you're looking at about $900 from $800 to $1,000 in gear compared to $3,000 for just a HoloLens. How do you guys seeing this? And it's mostly for developers to be able to make apps, and it's people that can't afford a $3,000 HoloLens or whatever to be able to do it. It's not consumer ready or anything like that. How do you guys see this affecting, the atmosphere in the community?
Well, the more headsets they can get out, the more people actually developing, like it says, makes the more the MR VR world in the Windows a more rich place to be, and ideas can flow more freely. And I think I like everything. It just progression.
Because if you look at like all the specs for this dev kit, I mean, we're looking at like $900 to $1,000 max. Like that's even stretching it a little bit. Like I could go out and buy this, not easily, but it's definitely a lot more possible for me to get compared to a $3,000 HoloLens, which frankly costs almost as much as my car.
Mm-hmm. the way I see it is I see it as a direct competitor to Meta right now. At least if I'm Meta, I'm worried about these devices. I know they're not as powerful as the Meta, but it's just a stepping stone. And if I'm any other MR device manufacturer, I am worried about this. I see it as like a direct competitor to maybe something that was trying to undercut the HoloLens in terms of price. Like Microsoft just did what Google pretty much did, which is get people to make it for you cheaper, like sell them the
with the Chromebook
idea behind, like with the Chromebook,
the OS,
and sell them the software and let them do with the hardware what they want. And I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it'll be good for app creation because this allows smaller developers to get their hands on MR and really build out things, and it allows smaller companies to start to get to use it and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier as like if you work at a dev shop, it's a lot easier as a developer to come up and say, hey, there's this new device, it could get popular, maybe be like VR, if you're trying to convince a boss, to get something, and you come in and you say it's going to cost $3,000, they're going to be like, get the hell away from me. I'm not going to spend $3,000 on something that couldn't possibly give me no returns. But if you come at them and say, hey, we already have a computer, we just need $300 or $600 for two of them to try this out, people are going to be way more apt to get that and try that out. But this is kind of interesting. I think this is Microsoft's push to own the domain, to own the mixed reality, the holographic, their Windows holographic. This is like their push to own it. Do you guys think Meta's going to try the same thing, or Magic Leap, or what do you guys think?
Well, at the rate they're going, maybe not. I mean, this may motivate them because they still don't really have a release date for their technology, And like you said, Eric, with this dev kit, it'd be so much easier to get two, because here at Holo Herald, we often think, oh, imagine what we could do with two HoloLenses. But with this, it's so much easier, and still, under $1,000 to be able to even get two of these.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that you bring up how we think about what could we do with two HoloLenses. Do you think these devices will be compatible with HoloLens? So will I be able to see the holograms that you're seeing with the HoloLens?
I was wondering this. So
I hope so.
So the devices, if you look at them, they look nothing like a HoloLens. They look more like a VR set, or and they have cameras on them. I think they use. Yeah. I think it's more like I don't know, because it uses like a. It says their screens. It says they have like resolutions of their screens, and not like the resolution on the beams on the HoloLens. So I don't know. I'm quite curious to find out, because if it is, we're gonna get one. If you can do two of it, or even if we can hook it to our camera and record stuff, even if it's a couple $100, we're gonna get one. So I'm interesting to see like what it is. I don't know the sales figures, or what the sales figures are going to be on it. I have no idea. What do you guys think of the future as it is?
I would be very interested in one if it was compatible with a HoloLens. You are right that it does appear to be a lot like a VR headset, in the fact that at least the one that is in this article does not appear to have like an actual lens you can look through. It's two cameras. So I'm guessing you have to see the real world through the cameras, and then so it's more like augmented reality in that sense.
Yeah.
Where you have to view the world through the camera, and then it overlays stuff. But I'm watching the video now, and they have like Holo Tour up and a couple other things. So I'll link the video I'm watching in the description as well. It's just a really short 1 minute video, but it kind of just shows, I guess, what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, it definitely does look different, and I guess we shouldn't be expecting. I mean, we'd be a little bit bad if they came out with something that was a competitor to the HoloLens. I guess they do just call it a dev kit. I think what it's going to do mostly is like you have the HoloLens emulator in the Visual Studio now, and Unity. You can do a HoloLens emulator. I think this is just going to take that a step further and let you use it in your space. Maybe not as good as a HoloLens, but then it still doesn't eliminate the need, because if you're a developer, you're not going to want to push something out live without actually trying it on the device it's meant for. So, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what they're going for it. So, do you see this breaking off into? So we had a little debacle at the office. Austin went and picked up a VR headset, and now this isn't a Oculus Rift, and this isn't a Vive by any means. This is just one where you put your phone in it, and we couldn't get the damn thing to work. You know, we're trying here. We're trying to get it to work, but that kind of soured us on VR a little bit. You know, we're kind of like, oh well, this didn't work. We're bummed out. You know, it kind of ruined it, left a bad taste in our mouth. Do you think someone could come and show the dev edition to their friends and it'll sour their mouth a little bit? Do you think this could have any negative effects on the HoloLens or mixed reality in general?
Well, mind you, Eric, the VR set I bought was clearance $10, and so
even more dangerous. Something that was just $10 soured our opinions on it. Could you imagine something you spent $400 on it and it soured our opinions?
Yeah, but if I start out on a $400 device, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bit easier to work and function than this $10 piece of crap that we bought.
But it is all relative, because the HoloLens is $3,000 compared to a $400 headset, whereas Oculus Rift is $600, and this is a $10 headset. So if we look at it relative, it's very close to the same concept. So I'm just saying, do you think this could sour anybody's opinions on it if it doesn't go completely as planned and have any negative effects? Not just you, Austin, everybody else, whoever thinks about it. Do you guys think that this could have negative effects on the scene?
I mean, you're always going to troubleshoot with technology and have issues that come up. But that's a tough question.
I don't see how this would affect it as much because it is a Windows product after all. So Microsoft would not allow this product to come out and be like shitty. They're going to make sure that it at least comes up to their standards. I mean, it runs on their software. They put their name on it, like they put Windows 10 on the device itself. It's like, it says Acer, and then there's like one of those little bars, and it says Windows 10 with the Windows 10 logo. So with this, I don't see why. I think the thing with VR is no one protected their copyrights, or their patent with it. So anyone could come in, and it's not really an advanced technology necessarily. Like, it was bound to happen with gyroscopes and all this others, and higher resolution screens and things like that. Whereas MR uses a completely different technology that wasn't present before. Like, this is the cutting edge. Whereas VR stuff, like 360 videos, they've been going on quite a while, and it's just now that our phones and things like that are capable, like the gyroscopes inside of them are capable of knowing that you're moving your phone around and things like that. So I don't see this souring anyone's opinion of MR.
Okay.
Just because of that fact.
Do you think this could bring it to the forefront a little bit more? Maybe not just with developers, because the only people that know about this are going to be the ones in the scene. Do you think this will give people an easier access to mixed reality? Because as it stands, I mean, very few people have tried HoloLenses or anything even close to it. Do you think this could give people... I guess I'm just trying to see the effects of adding something like this rather than just continuing to charge $3,000 for the HoloLens.
I think it's just to increase innovation, to get it to the smaller companies and the smaller developers out there who can't necessarily drop $3,000 right now, but would still like to work with MR and have been fine using the emulator for now, but now can actually put a device on their head that is still an emulator, of course, but it does a better job of doing it because they can actually see it through their own eyes rather than on a computer screen.
Yeah,
I guess go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I kind of agree with you there, Paul, because, if you hop on the HoloLens App Store and you go onto the ones that are built for the HoloLens, there really isn't a lot. I mean, there are some good apps and there's some fun apps, and we've really enjoyed testing a lot of them out, but there still really isn't, a very big variety. And I feel like they're using this dev kit to kind of disperse it a little bit more, kind of share the wealth and let more people try and let more people program and put more apps, kind of give it a little bit more of a base to the store,
That's how the ideas are going to spread, and then we're going to see the next innovation in MR technology.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Did you write that one down?
We could probably end on that note. Thank you for listening.
We have 6 more minutes until we can end.
Austin, you should have saved that to the end, man.
Oh, I'll say it again. Don't you worry.
Okay,
perfect.
all right.
Perfect. We'll cut that out, and then it'll just be like a gut, and we'll get back to it.
Just throw that in at the end.
So, I guess it's just interesting to me, and I play devil's advocate a lot of these things. I just try to spur on discussion. But we talk about this a lot. This is something we've discussed in previous podcasts, is that there's certain devices that is just good enough, and that's kind of what's killed VR. I don't want to rehash too many old topics, but I mean, this is what we've talked about, is VR on our phone is good enough for us. This is good enough. So I think, do you think, we haven't tried this, so this is just completely assumption, and assuming it makes an ass out of you and me, is assuming, do you guys think this will be just good enough? Like, we'll kind of see the death of the HoloLens. This is just super exaggerated. Just try to talk discussion, play devil's advocate. This will be just good enough for people, and we'll kind of see less and less development on the HoloLens and the more expensive line of products. What do you guys think?
It's definitely a possibility, because if we go back to like virtual reality, think like Oculus Rift or something like that. I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, that's cool. But I never bought it. I never showed any interest in buying it. I did appreciate it for what it was, but it wasn't something that I was willing to pay money for and use it as much as I would, say, my Xbox or my phone. So with the HoloLens, other people could definitely see it that way as well. I certainly, my opinions have changed, but it's just because I've held it in my hands, I've used it, and I've found hundreds of different purposes for it. But other people are going to have to figure out for themselves that, hey, this HoloLens kind of applies to me too. Like, I would need something like this. So if Microsoft and other companies can kind of give people reasons to buy it, then I'd say, this could definitely be avoided.
So do you...
Which is...
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Sorry, go ahead.
Which, stemming off of that, is really what Microsoft is doing. If they wanted to, they could come out and be like, this is going to beat VR, and this is why, and really market it that way, and just hit it hard, like push really hard for a consumer edition. But instead, they're building use cases and things like that, where they're actually looking at, okay, so how are our business customers, who in the past have been the people who made us into a big company, how are they going to use our devices? How are they going to use this new software that we came out with? And I think that's where they succeed, and where the HoloLens will be fine, because though it's expensive right now, there's going to be those enthusiasts out there, and those people that actually need the extra power, who are going to continue to buy it. So when you brought up this, Eric, I immediately thought of, okay, so a Chromebook is good enough for most people.
Yes.
And yet you still see people buying $1,000 graphics cards, which are almost about 3 times the price of a Chromebook. So there's still a market out there, and that's how I see this, sort of.
Okay.
I guess.
And I guess businesses don't really bat an eye at $3,000, whether it's $500 or $3,000. Some businesses don't really care, especially ones that are probably looking to adapt new technology like this. They're not really caring to get it, but it'll definitely make it more. Go ahead, Austin.
And that brings us back to what we were discussing at first. Just like, this is the future of MR. Is we see it as a business application, not for gaming, and I think it can stay at that. Like, it can be expensive and still work, if that makes sense. No,
yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like there's a market for it, no matter if it's even if it's more than $3,000. I mean, look, their business, their commercial suite is $5,000. I mean, they're not going to make a $5,000 commercial suite if they don't see use case for it. So I wonder. I would just be interested to discuss with some of the Microsoft people and see like their trajectory and their aim for this. Like, is this meant to be the consumer edition? Maybe HoloLens was never meant to be a consumer edition. Maybe it was only meant to be for businesses. And then this $300 edition, this is supposed to be the consumer edition, and this is their kind of beta test for that. Anyways, we're going to get on the list for one. I mean, because they're going to be hard to get. They did a conference and they gave away some golden tickets to some people that were lucky enough to win them. So, I mean, if they're giving away tickets to get them, you can bet that they're not going to be super easy to get. So we're definitely going to get on the list for one or two, see what they're like, and maybe try one out, see what happens. But, anything else we have to talk about, ladies and gents?
Not that I can think of right now. That discussion kind of encompassed all the articles I had prepared for today, which was just more about how Microsoft was looking to position the HoloLens and stuff like that in terms of the market, which we covered in saying that it's a business use case. So, yeah, I think we covered everything I wanted to talk about. If anyone else has anything.
What'd you think of your first podcast, Alex?
I had fun. I hope my input was helpful and that I didn't piss you off, Eric.
Oh no, I don't. I never get pissed off. Why would you think that?
Only
I'm just giving you crap, man. Yeah, but no, topics wise, I'm all out. Same with Paul. I'd kind of planned for everything we've gone over, but yeah, I had fun. I had a really good time talking about all this.
And Swain Money. What'd you think, man?
Well, I always enjoy these podcasts. They're always great, and I learn something new about myself every time.
Yeah, you do. We learned that you have, what was it, severe
post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes. All right. Okay. That's cool.
You just need to promise us that you'll be careful this coming Friday night, Austin.
So you don't get again. All right. Well, guys, thank you, viewers that stopped by, that stopped in some for a minute, maybe some of you that have been sitting there the whole time. This is our first podcast online. I mean, our first live streamed podcast. And we will be doing many more of these. And you can look forward to it probably every Monday night, a lot earlier. Sorry for doing this so late at night. It took us a lot of time to get everything set up, and it was kind of spur of the moment. But we would all just like to say thank you for 1,000 subscribers, and thank you for joining us in the community. And we look forward to the future. We see so much potential in all of this, and we're just excited. So thank you very much, guys.
Yep. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate your viewership, and we hope for more and more HoloLens content. So if you have any ideas, or you have any video ideas, you want to hear anything new, you want to hear our thoughts on certain subjects, feel free to let us know in the comment section, and we read all the comments. So just let us know, and we'll grant your wishes if they seem reasonable to us.
Okay, you too, Alex, Austin, say your goodbyes.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. I had fun. Hope you guys, enjoyed it. And like Paul said, let us know what we can do better. Let us know what you guys want to see us do. And we'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks.
And you know what? I got Instagram up and running, so I'll be posting photos of the random stuff that we do as a team. And so be on the lookout for that on Instagram at the Holo Herald. And peace out, guys. Have a great evening, morning, wherever you are. And yeah.
Okay, can we get a quick round of applause for our video game player, Brandon, on the console over there?
He's such a trooper. An hour of doom and
an hour of bass.
An hour of bass fishing.
An hour of bass fishing. Some heroes don't wear capes.
Well, if you guys weren't able to join us on this podcast, tune in next week, Monday night. We don't know what time. Check our Twitter at the Holo Herald. We are going to be letting you guys know. We're going to be streaming this from now on. We're going to be doing more streams. We're going to be doing more content. And like I said, we just look forward to it. Good night and good day. And thank you guys for listening to the Holo Herald Podcast.